When Assassin's Creed Unity launched in 2014, it didn't just stumble, it collapsed under the weight of expectation. What should have been a triumphant debut for Assassin's Creed on a new console generation instead became one of the most infamous launches in modern gaming. Social media was flooded with broken animations, disappearing faces, and bugs so extreme they turned serious criticism into viral comedy. For many players, Unity was dismissed almost instantly. It wasn't discussed as a game with ideas or ambition, but as a cautionary tale about rushed development. And once that narrative settled in, it became almost impossible for Unity to escape it. The timing couldn't have been worse. By 2014, Ubisoft had released a new Assassin's Creed almost every single year. While each entry brought improvements, the annual cycle had begun to wear players down. Franchise fatigue was real, and Unity arrived at the exact moment when players were already skeptical. At the same time, expectations were higher than ever. Unity was marketed as a full next-generation reboot. A new engine, unprecedented graphical fidelity, massive crowds, deeper systems, and Paris during the French Revolution, a setting fans had been asking for since the early days of the franchise. Unity wasn't just another sequel. It was supposed to redefine Assassin's Creed. Instead, it launched unfinished, and that failure overshadowed everything else it tried to do. What often gets lost in that initial backlash is how different Unity actually was in its design philosophy. While earlier games focused heavily on spectacle and scale, Unity pulled the series inward. Its story is not about changing history or becoming a legend. It's about loss, guilt, and obsession. Arno Dorian is not driven by ideology, nor does he grow into a heroic symbol. He is flawed, emotional, and frequently wrong. His journey is shaped by personal tragedy rather than historical destiny, and the French Revolution serves more as a chaotic backdrop than a narrative centerpiece. This choice confused many players who expected a more traditional power fantasy, but it gave Unity one of the most grounded and human stories in the series. At the center of that story is Arno's relationship with Elise. Unlike most Assassin's Creed romances, this one is not idealized or victorious. It is complicated, restrained, and ultimately tragic. Both characters want justice, but their beliefs and methods pull them in opposite directions. Unity doesn't offer easy answers, and it doesn't reward Arno with triumph or closure. Instead, it presents failure as an outcome, a bold narrative choice in a franchise known for heroic arcs. Compared to the long, satisfying evolution of Ezio Auditore or the redemptive journey of Edward Kenway, Unity's story feels subdued. But that subtlety is exactly what makes it unique. Unity's greatest achievement, however, is undoubtedly its recreation of Paris. Even today, it remains one of the most detailed and immersive cities Ubisoft has ever built. This is not a city designed to be crossed quickly, but one meant to be inhabited. Streets are narrow and crowded, buildings are tightly packed, and verticality defines almost every space. Interiors blend seamlessly into the open world, allowing players to move through windows, doors, and rooftops without interruption. The sheer density of the environment creates a sense of place that few open-world games have ever matched. Paris doesn't just look alive, it feels alive, constantly reacting to the tension and chaos of the revolution. This dense urban design directly feeds into Unity's parkour system, which is arguably the most complex the series has ever attempted. For the first time, movement was not just about speed, but about control. The introduction of separate commands for ascending and descending changed how players interacted with the environment. Descending buildings became fluid and deliberate rather than clumsy or accidental. However, this system also demanded more from the player. Unlike earlier games where parkour was almost automatic, Unity required intention and awareness. Many players found it frustrating at first, but those who mastered it discovered a level of precision and expressiveness that the franchise has rarely reached since. Combat and stealth in Unity reinforce the same design principles. Unity actively discourages open combat. Enemies are aggressive, firearms are deadly, and being outnumbered is often a death sentence. Instead of empowering the player as an unstoppable warrior, Unity pushes them toward planning, positioning, and escape. Tools like smoke bombs, phantom blades, and cover-based movement are not optional. They are essential. This is Assassin's Creed returning to its roots as a stealth-focused experience. Compared to later entries like Odyssey and Valhalla, which embrace RPG progression and power scaling, Unity feels far more restrained and disciplined. It wants you to survive, not dominate. That said, Unity's flaws are impossible to ignore. The technical issues at launch were severe enough to permanently damage its reputation. Even after patches, some rough edges remained. Animations could feel inconsistent, the co-op system lacked depth, and the progression system overwhelmed new players with complexity. Many side missions were repetitive and lacked strong narrative motivation, compared to the polish of Black Flag or the focused reinvention of Origins. Unity often felt unfocused and bloated. These shortcomings mattered, and they explain why so many players walked away disappointed. Yet when Unity is placed alongside the strongest entries in the series, its value becomes clearer. The Ezio trilogy remains unmatched in character development and emotional payoff. Black Flag excels in freedom, pacing, and sheer charm. Origin successfully reinvented the franchise with a powerful origin story and modern mechanics. But Unity surpasses them all in urban immersion, parkour depth, and commitment to the assassin fantasy. No other game in the series places such emphasis on being an assassin rather than a hero or warrior. Unity didn't fail because it lacked vision. It failed because its ambition exceeded the time, stability, and trust it was given. Revisiting Assassin's Creed Unity today feels like uncovering a forgotten chapter in the franchise's history. It represents a path Assassin's Creed could have followed, one focused on dense cities, deliberate movement, and stealth-first gameplay. Instead, the series moved toward larger worlds, RPG systems, and broader appeal. Unity stands apart as a reminder of a different philosophy, one that valued intimacy over scale and precision over spectacle. Time has been kinder to Unity than launch day ever was, and in hindsight, it deserves to be remembered not as a failure, but as one of the boldest and most ambitious Assassin's Creed games ever made.